Yeah, I think that's a good answer.
You think those are?
Yeah, like a baby Yoda. You want to go for the younger cheese.
I'm never going to be able to look at him again.
Do you want to take the first question? Do you want to ask the first question?
I can do the first. There was something, I just saw one. All right. Can I cook with marinara sauce in a cast iron skillet? So this is a question from Seattle.su85. Well, we use cast iron skillets a lot in Cook's Country. And that is a concern I think most people have. I think as long as you're not cooking a really long cooked, like weekend, gravy that's going to cook in there for several hours, I think you're fine with the quick marinara.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's like a 30-minute time limit or something like that.
It's not like a match made in heaven. I don't know why I wouldn't reach for a cast iron skillet to make a marinara sauce in it, but...
so I think we're changing our answer to just don't do it.
You can do it. You just don't want to do it for a long time.
Don't invite us over if you don't do it, because we will not let you forget about it.
You used a cast iron skillet?
Tell me more about that, Chef. What's going on with this cast iron? All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
How come my mac and cheese turns out grainy rather than smooth and creamy? This is from Ken in Denver. Ken in Denver.
Well, Ken, it could have something to do with the kind of cheese you're using. So, mac and cheese is not the place to, use that really good, expensive aged Gouda or extra sharp aged cheddar. The more you want to use a cheese with a higher moisture point, I would say, like a younger cheese. So regular cheddar, just plain old sharp cheddar will melt, but extra sharp cheddar won't. It'll start to melt and then it'll break up and get grainy. So choosing the cheese you're using, we've also done mac and cheese with, do we use it with no, not American cheese.
Oh, hell yeah, we've done it with
American
cheese. Oh my God,
cheese.
yeah.
So basically something that's a really good melting cheese is what you want to use in your mac and cheese. You also might have gotten it too hot for the cheese to break, or you might need to use like some cornstarch or something in there to kind of help bind everything together.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer.
You think those are?
We were talking about this before, but what's your favorite thing to cook at home? Right now.
Right now?
Like if you were going home tonight and you're like, today I'm craving this.
I've been loving, you make fun of me. This is just going to be,
This is just for me to make fun of.
Just for Brian to make fun of me.
No.
I'm loving broccoli Reuben sandwiches. So I don't eat a ton of meat, and I've been roasting broccoli and melting some Swiss cheese on it, and I have homemade sauerkraut and griddled rye bread. And I've told lots of people about this because it's such a good sandwich, and it makes me very happy. So broccoli Reuben is what's on my menu.
That's great.
How about you? He's like, not a broccoli Reuben.
It's actually very similar to a broccoli Reuben. It's a ribeye steak, like with a little ton of fat on it and lots of salt. I'll just pan sear it and then maybe fry an egg.
Is there homemade sauerkraut to go with it?
Kind of. There's an egg, which is very similar to sauerkraut. I'll do a fried egg and just eat that. Actually, my daughter and I will just share that. we won't sit down at the table. We'll just walk around, take bites of it, walk around some more.
Hold the bone.
Yeah. It's very caveman-like experience.
Brian's house, my house, same.
Basically the same. Yeah.
People, pop their heads in. I'm like, where am I? Am I at Brian's? Am I at Christie's? I can't tell the difference. Let's see.
I have a question for you from Lorraine57. To roast a whole head of cauliflower, should I blanch it first? Go ahead.
You have feelings about this.
Well, I do, but you should talk first.
There's different schools of thought. I don't know that we've ever done a whole roasted cauliflower recipe
There's probably a good reason for it, yeah.
It's a lot of work, and the nice thing about doing cauliflower in florets or in wedges is that you get browning on it, and so you're just losing that opportunity. But I imagine that blanching it first would ensure that you don't have crunchy cauliflower when you've roasted it.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of work.
Yeah, I personally don't think you should do this. I think it's just a bad idea because, like you said, all right, so what you're going to get is you're going to get a beautiful looking cauliflower, and the best thing about that is that it just looks nice. Because all the cauliflower beneath the surface is going to be just steamed, essentially. So I would much rather cut it into florets and roast it in individual pieces like that, and because you'll get crispy bits all the way around. I feel like this is just some kind of trend, and it's not really that cool. I don't really appreciate it.
Yeah, the presentation is nice, but you have to eat it eventually. And
But that said, if you're not going to eat it, yeah, you should do that all day long.
if you just want a nice floral arrangement, you know, in lieu of flowers, then there you go.
Sometimes I give that as a Christmas gift.
Just a roasted head of coffee.
All right, what's next?
Okay. Oh, this was an interesting question. So, when using flour as a thickener, like in a roux, does the protein content matter? That is, can you substitute bread or cake flour for AP and get the same results?
Oh, that's a good question.
And if you have to substitute, would you want to use more protein or less protein?
That's a good question. I think you could use AP and bread flour interchangeably, but I would not use cake flour. I don't think the protein content really matters at the end of the day, because it's a small difference between those two that really comes out more when you're baking. I would not use cake flour, though, because cake flour tends to contain cornstarch. And we've actually tried making cornstarch roux here in the test kitchen, and they get very sweet and very gluey, and they just really don't work at all.
Yeah.
So bread and AP, okay, no to cake flour.
So there you have it. Brian has spoken.
What's your secret to getting consistently good mashed potatoes without a ton of ingredients or utensils? This is from Robbie McNix, 330. Robbie. Do you make mashed potatoes a lot?
I don't really make a lot of mashed potatoes.
I wish I made more mashed potatoes. I made them more when I was working in restaurants than I do at home. And I'm very lazy making them at home. I never use a mixer or anything. But do you have anything?
I mean, I've done them different ways. I think, the potato makes a big difference. So, and what kind of mashed potatoes you like. Are you a fluffy mashed potato person? Are you a kind of chunky mashed potato person?
Yeah, that's good.
These are different people, Yeah,
you
this isn't like one mash to rule them all. So I think if you like fluffy mashed potatoes, then you definitely want to use russet potatoes, like a starchier potato.
Yep.
And you probably want to use a ricer, boil the potatoes and then use a ricer to...
Would you use a ricer over a KitchenAid, or is that like a stand mixer with a whisk or a paddle?
Honestly, I don't think I'd break out the KitchenAid if I were going to make mashed potatoes.
Is it easier? I don't have a ricer.
Is
it easier?
I don't either, but they're asking, I guess it's the most utilitarian way to do this.
Is it easier to clean a ricer than it is a stand mixer?
No, but it requires less, if you're doing this in the woods.
Right. That was the second part of the question.
And you don't have electricity.
He was I'm doing this in the woods.
You boil your potatoes over an open fire, and then you use a ricer that you had in your backpack.
That's another thing. It's like when you go camping, you should always bring a ricer with you and a pocket knife. And salt.
So I think you could use chicken broth or a little bit of
I guess.
cream.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I think that really depends on how you like your mashed potatoes. I don't. Do you have a strong feeling?
Do I have opinions?
Yeah. I know you have opinions. He's got lots of opinions.
I would probably break out the stand mixer.
You would?
And I'd fit it with either a whisk or maybe a paddle, depending on how smooth I wanted them. And then a lot of cold butter and milk. I wouldn't heat those two things up beforehand.
Okay.
I'd boil the potatoes. I'd slice the potatoes first and boil them in plenty of salted water. Don't be cheap with the salt, because the salt really makes the mashed potatoes taste great.
Is that what salt does? It adds.
It tastes great. Yeah, you taste something, you're like, this is great. It's because of the salt.
There's salt in here?
Yeah. So I don't know, milk. I don't think you have to go as far as getting heavy cream involved. I think milk and just a ton of butter works very well.
Okay, so salt.
But
lots
I don't know
of butter.
about this chicken broth. Some people will say chicken broth. I don't know where that comes from at all.
Well, I guess I was not having quite as indulgent mashed potatoes as you were.
If you're going to go through the effort and you're going to do the work, you might as well make it worth your while.
Some people like brothy mashed potatoes.
Yeah, I guess.
We're not judging, okay?
I'm constantly judging.
I'm not judging.
All right, next.
Yeah. Oh, why did the centers of my cinnamon rolls pop up when I bake them? Are they overproofed?
You have to ask a baking question.
Well, actually, I remember this from doing Cecilia's chocolate sticky buns for TV.
Oh, right.
I think it's probably because you roll the sticky buns up too tightly before you cut them into slices. So you want to make sure that you're rolling it, so that you don't have lots of gaps in between the layers. But if you roll it really, really tightly and then slice it, those centers are going to pop up when you bake them.
Does that look nicer or does it look worse?
Well, then it looks sort of like a Leaning Tower of Pisa sort of situation, and I think you want to have nice, even centers.
If you're into architecture, you should roll them super tight, though.
So there you go.
All right. This guy, Brian Bignfun, who's one of our good friends and good fans, is really into brinner, which is eating breakfast for dinner, which I completely hate. And he wants me to admit that it's awesome, and I'm just not going to do it because it's not. I can't even really wrap my head around brunch. Brunch is like the most annoying meal. I mean, I can do breakfast. Sometimes you got to eat breakfast.
Right.
Brunch is I just want that steak we were talking about back there. But yeah,
brinner is
no,
not.
I can't.
Yeah. Well, would you put like an egg on something that you were having at dinner? Is that okay, or is it just like pancakes, French toast?
Oh yeah, I can't
ixnay those.
Yeah, ixnay those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think? Do you like brinner?
No.
Okay. I thought you were setting me up to really enjoy it because.
No.
Right.
Well, I don't really love sweet breakfast things anyway. So, I really wouldn't go with French toast or pancakes anytime, even at appropriately, like at breakfast.
The proper hour, yeah.
No. But I am a fan of putting an egg on most things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think what we're basically teaching people here today is that how to prepare in case we show up for dinner at some point. Like, we don't like sweet stuff.
Especially not at dinner.
Don't roast a whole head of cauliflower. I like steak. Make her a sandwich. Mashed potatoes, yes. No chicken broth.
Roasted potatoes. Yeah.
All right. What about an air fryer or Airfryer or Instapot? Do you have a preference? Do you use one of those?
I do not have.
I want to know what's going on at your house. Are we eating at your house? Or is it just sandwiches?
I make plenty of things. Do you have one of?
Hell no, I don't. No. I didn't mean to say hell no, but I actually don't because I don't have room for it.
I don't either. Okay. I don't either. Like, we both live in the city and its environs, which means that there's not a lot of space in your kitchen.
You can't fit one in a Boston house.
Yeah, a lot of them, I have an oven, I have a toaster oven, so.
I have a toaster oven too.
Look, oh my gosh!
We should talk about toaster ovens.
It's like the same house.
I told you.
Yeah, so I think that's the oven fryer, the air fryer thing doesn't really, I don't know, it seems like extraneous to me. The Instant Pot, I would opt for because of the pressure cooker.
Yeah, that's me too.
I don't really use the slow cooker for much. I kind of feel like if I want to braise something, I'll just do it on Sunday when I'm there, and instead of cooking something all day. But that's just me.
I have a secret to share.
Yeah.
I use the slow cooker like 3 times a week.
Really? For what?
First of all, I don't follow a recipe. I do like lamb shanks. I'll do, believe it or not, a braised chicken thigh dish that my kids like. I think it's dry, but they love it. I do pork tacos. Like, I'll do whole pork butts.
Lots of meat.
Lots of meat. I mean, you can't really braise tofu that well successfully in a slow cooker.
Not for multiple hours.
Yeah. But I use it. I've done confit in it. Like duck and turkey confit in there.
So you would go with the Instant Pot over the air fryer for sure.
And I also want the pressure cooker feature.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah. If I had room, and this has, we have a giveaway. So once we've tested all of our equipment and we have excess stuff, once a year, it's like supermarket sweep, and the whole staff can come in and choose some items to take home with them. And we had some instant pots, some multi cookers from our testing, and I had an opportunity to get one, and
I struggle with it too. I almost grabbed one this year.
But it's a big footprint, and I don't have room on my cupboard, on my counter for that, and I don't really have storage for it. So
yeah. All right.
The struggle is real.
Yep.
And but it remains on my, like, right on the borders of my wish list.
Okay,
it's like there, but
when's your birthday?
It just passed.
Okay, well, next year.
Next year. Yeah. Okay. So. Pizza Designs ask us, who tastes better, Baby Yoda or Alf?
Oh, I always prefer Baby Yoda over Alf. It's much fresher. Alf is really stale at this point, so.
Well, and also like the Baby Yoda is like little and tiny, so the meat's gonna be really
very tender. Yeah.
Alf is old and shriveled, and it's gonna be like an old cow.
He's got an enlarged liver. He's got a drinking problem. Yoda. He's fresh.
Yeah, Baby Yoda.
I'm going to go as fresh as you can. I found a good question in here. It was about pans.
Oh, the copper?
Yeah, I want the copper.
This way down.
Okay, it's past the Yoda.
Yes.
Are copper skillets worth buying, or would a carbon steel skillet work just as well for searing a steak? Do you have any carbon steel or copper skillets at home?
My roommate has carbon steel. I don't think I'd get copper because it's reactive, and so you're already limiting what you can cook in it, and you have to maintain it.
Yeah, I think the maintenance. I mean, I think on the inside it's always stainless steel line.
True. I'm thinking of copper bowls.
Yeah, right. No, I love carbon steel skillets. They're very resilient. They're a little bit lighter than cast iron, but they heat really evenly. You can make them nonstick over repeated use, just like cast iron. And they're pretty affordable too. Yeah. Way cheaper than copper skillets or copper pans.
Yeah, they're not as heavy either. Don't copper pans tend to be pretty heavy?
They can be pretty heavy, yeah.
So, how about, so Ryan Fay asks, when you're cooking with wine, does the quality of the wine make a difference to the final dish?
What do you think?
I wouldn't put yucky wine in something that I'm cooking, because usually the wine's going to cook down. So whatever you start with is going to become more intense in flavor. So if you're starting with wine that you wouldn't drink out of the bottle, it's only going to taste worse when you cook it down in your dish.
It doesn't get better because you added food to it. It's still crappy wine, so just avoid it.
It's not like, or if your wine has started to turn, you've got red wine and it doesn't taste good.
Bad idea.
That does not go into the food now. Make some vinegar with it, maybe, but
and that, you don't have to buy super high-end wine. Like a $10 bottle of wine is some $8 bottles of wine, or just as long as it's not bad.
Right. And not cooking wine either. If you can buy it in the grocery store, in the section with the vinegars and stuff, leave it there, because that's going to be, it's like super salty, and there's it's not wine. No. It's not good.
It's horrible.
It is not good.
Let's see. CTina31 wants to know, what's the secret to perfect home fries? I know you don't mash potatoes. You make home fries?
Not really.
What's up? Why do you hate potatoes so much?
I don't hate potatoes.
Yeah, seems like it.
I do roasted potatoes.
Do you want a different question? All right, I'll ask you a follow-up question.
You do the home fries. You guys, Cook's Country just did home fries.
Did we?
Didn't Cecilia just do home fries?
that's
Hash browns.
Difference.
Okay.
I was actually at a place this weekend that was confused by home fries versus hash browns.
Okay, well, why don't we take this opportunity to
now that I've got you here,
situation.
I didn't see you guys come in. Home fries are chunks, like 1-inch pieces of potato. They could be larger than that, but they're chunky potatoes that have been sauteed, whereas hash browns are shredded potatoes. There's no confusion down south what a hash brown is. There's a little bit of confusion up in the north, hash brown versus home fry.
Okay.
So home fry is cubed, hash brown is shredded.
All right. So while you're clarifying this, do you have any tips for perfect home fries?
I would blanch the potatoes first, for sure. You know, again, plenty of salted water, and then don't be cheap with the oil when you go to saute them. Start the potatoes first, and if you're going to add things like onions, do it a few minutes after the potatoes have already started to get brown. That way the onions won't burn before the potatoes are nice and crispy.
Got it.
Got it?
Got it.
Okay.
There you go. That's
All
one,
right.
one to grow on from Brian Roof.
All right. That was great. You did a great job.
Thanks, Brian. You
We're
too.
going to go cook something, probably some
He's going to make some meat.
I'm going to make a roasted broccoli Reuben right now.
So good.
So thank you for watching Ask the Test Kitchen. Please throw your comments and any future questions that you'd like answered in the comment section down below. Again, I'm Brian Roof from Cook's Country Magazine.
I'm Christie Morrison.
Thanks for joining.
From the whole place.
She lives here at America's Test Kitchen.
Everywhere. I'm here all the time.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for your wonderful questions. We appreciate it.
Bye.